Hey guys, thank you for coming to my channel, Guidance Through Gaia. My name is Amber and I do tarot pick-a-card readings on this channel. Today we're going to be looking at why are you avoidant? And so we've got three piles here. We've got pile one with this gothic kind of looking angel. We've got pile number two with these flowers, and then pile number three with this rainbow elephant. I keep wanting to say like unicorn or horse. So these cards right here are going to represent the reasons why you are being avoidant of a situation, and then we're going to get some tarot to figure out like what actions could you take to combat that avoidancy, and then get some message cards from the universe. So go ahead, choose your pile or piles, and I will see you there. Hello, group number one. This is going to be your video on why are you avoidant, and you chose this lovely angel here. Now, it's funny, this angel gave me, when I first pulled it, which I did before I pulled any of these cards, very big devil energy. You know, she's got the darker aesthetics here, like her halo, but then there's also like these little horns that seem to be coming up out of her head. This extravagant and dark makeup with all of the jewelry, holding this moon. And I feel like that really coincided with the cards that we pulled today. So we'll look at those right now. We have card number 42 with the empty room. We have navigation with the lionfish. And we have card number 3 with the Black Moon, Lilith, and Gemini, which says liberate your truth. So I do feel like you're kind of in your villain era. You know, you're kind of in that hedonistic point in your life where maybe you have just really felt pressure from society and from people around you. And now you're at a point where I feel like just we're ready to break free and be true to yourself. The empty room here, the card talks about the hungry ghost that's never sated. It talks about how there is so much potential with this room, but the querent doesn't notice that. Instead, what they attempt to do is to fill the room with, in this instance, the card is talking about like with materialistic items. It's interesting because it looks like we have these planets here. So I almost envision this as like a glass room where you're looking out and you see how vast the universe is. And you can imagine like the beauty of everything out there and the grandeur of everything out there. And you want to be just as noticed as you notice these planets and stars. The lionfish here talks about navigation, and it's very possible that you don't necessarily have a concrete goal. You might be acting upon impulse and desires, like maybe you really want to just do whatever makes you feel good, you know? And so maybe you're concerned about your appearance. Maybe you are engaging in a lot of social activities. Maybe you are focused a lot on your material items and the presentation of like your home or your family or your vehicle or your job. It seems to me that there's likely an underlying issue here, but you're just focused on the surface level of it, which is understandable, especially if you ever feel like you've been repressed and oppressed. You know, if you've had to behave in different ways to make other people happy or to feel accepted. The lionfish is an interesting symbol. I was reading about it as a totem. It can represent like courage and strength. Lionfish are predators and they're very beautiful. So we're talking here about the alluring aspect of the lionfish, but they can also be very deadly. Like their fins have like these spikes on them and can be used like defensively, offensively. And so what this signifies to me is you might be more in an energy of taking action. You might be more assertive, more aggressive even. And I think that there's been this this silencing of kind of maybe your softer side, your gentler side, your side more willing to receive. Maybe it's been, you know, I'm tired of never having what it is that I want. And so what I'm just gonna take it. I'm gonna take whatever I want. And I'm finally ready to have that. I think that we're in a place of extremes right now. And then with Black Moon, Lilith, and Gemini. So Gemini is ruled by Mercury, and Mercury is the planet of messages. It's also the planet of, Mercury is a god in Roman mythology. His Greek counterpart is Hermes. And so, Hermes and Mercury are the deliverer of messages. And so the Black Moon, Lilith, and Gemini can talk about feeling as if maybe confrontation is going to occur and sometimes being triggered by other people's assertiveness or their perspectives of us. So whatever it is that is the task that you are avoiding, it might be because you feel that it doesn't add to your aesthetic, to your value, to people commending you and reacting positively towards you. It might be something that just doesn't make you feel good. Yeah. And you know what? Like, I am all for doing things that make you feel good. I have Libra in some very important places in my chart. So I get that. And I struggle with this too, where it's just like, I've held back on life for so long. Like, I don't want to hold back anymore. But there are certain responsibilities or needs that we have that just, sometimes they don't feel good, but they still need to be done because the benefit in the long run outweighs the instant gratification of ignoring it. Guys, my shuffling skills have really deteriorated. Okay. So we're just going to get a spread to see, like, what advice does the universe have for you on how to combat this? It can be action. It can be a change of perspective, but we're going to see, like, how you can apply this in the real world. The King of Swords. Okay, so the King of Swords is somebody who plans, and he's very observant, and he thinks logically. So the logical aspect of it is something that you may need to deal with. You may need to fine-tune your willingness to separate, like, pleasure from practicality. But remember, like, Libra is an air sign, and it's attached to Mercury, and, like, it enjoys the finer things in life too. You know, you can have your cake and eat it too. You can be true to yourself and enjoy your life, but also do so in a way that's productive, and sustaining. Ooh, the Magician. Okay. Two old white men. The Magician is Aries energy, which is somebody who is very much going to take control of their situation. And Aries probably isn't going to think as much as the King of Swords does, but he has a plan of action. Oh, and then the Page of Wands. You know, and he's not willing to get, and Aries is not unwilling to get their hands dirty. They're very interested in getting results. They know that the more time they waste thinking about doing something or how much they don't want to do it, it still has to get done, you know. And then the Page of Wands here talks about starting something from a fresh perspective. It's kind of like, for me, the Page of Wands is like an adventure card. You know, it's when you go in with a very, God, what's this? It's a mindset that is, I can't think of the word. But anyway, you go in with a mindset that you're open to exploring. You're open to seeing what's out there. And you are willing to learn and willing to adapt. Okay? And so it's interesting that we have these two very high positioned cards with like this kind of apprentice card. And the Magician talks about changing things, changing your surroundings. Because a magician alchemizes. It takes what they already have and turns it into something else. So is there a way that would, if you're looking for a job, okay, but you're not like, okay, maybe you need a new job, you have one already, you don't like it, or maybe you do not have a job and you're just kind of putting it off because in your mind, jobs aren't fun. Perhaps you need to look at like, well, what are things you have enjoyed about working in the past? Are there certain kinds of tasks you like? Like, I don't know, do you really like computer work? Do you like problem solving? Do you like the ability to be creative with something? Do you like being part of a team, or do you prefer to work independently? Do you like to work indoors, outdoors? And in that way, you might be able to start investigating different occupations that you previously may not have considered, but could potentially be appealing to you. You know, I don't believe that you have to be miserable with your work life. You know, it's okay to change your mind about things, and it's okay to get into something new, even if you are like really experienced in something else, or have a degree in something and maybe this isn't applicable. I think if a job is the situation you're going through, then you definitely do need to consider like things outside of the box that might make you happy. If it's something about like confronting your finances, this might entail, you know, what are some things that you are spending in excess on? You know, like, do you, for example, spend a lot of money on makeup? Okay, maybe you need to take inventory of whatever you've got and see like, okay, so you know what? I think I have enough lip liner. I don't really need to buy any, and maybe you need to like make a list of the different kinds of cosmetics and like the rotation of when you need to restock based upon how frequently you use the item and its like shelf life. If it's looking at houses that are more practical, you know, you may be somebody who wants all of these amenities and these technologically advanced features, or maybe it needs to be big, or perhaps you need to just kind of think about like, are you focused on the neighborhood? What are the basic needs that you absolutely have to have? If you have a family, like how many rooms do you need to have? How many bathrooms do you need to have? And something like a house can always be renovated. It can always be changed. So even if you're starting with something that isn't exactly as ideal, but it's affordable, like you can make changes, you know, and this can be a journey of like, how can I learn to have something that is more within my means, and how can I make it into something that I absolutely love? You know, this is really all about still doing what needs to be done, and taking that initiative, but finding ways to take something that may not be your idea of what your desire is. How can you turn that into your idea? I love that too. I love that because it's not really about like, aw, we got the lovers. It's like destiny. And that's a card of choices too. But we have every right to love the aspects of our life, but sometimes we're not always going to get exactly what we want. But that doesn't mean we can't make it into something that we want, you know? All right, now we're gonna get a look at some messages from the universe giving you guidance. These are my Raise Your Vibration Oracle cards. Devotion unites me with the infinite. I am supported on my path. So, devotion unites me with the infinite makes me reflect back on this card, the empty room, because the empty room talks about a lack mindset. And this is reminding us like to acknowledge all of the things that we do have, how we are fortunate, being appreciative of the skills we've acquired, the people in our life, the material items that we have access to. But we're also going to look to see what chakra this relates to. Oh, it's the Kundalini. So that's like where I think all of the chakras are ignited. And it says, devotion is the energy of loyalty. It's the feeling of deep gratitude, love, and appreciation for something or someone. When we devote ourselves to something spiritual, we break through all the blockages between ourselves and the divine. The reason devotion is so powerful is because through it, however we display it, we allow our consciousness to become one with whatever our focus is. Today, the universe is giving thanks for your gratitude and love. It doesn't seek your devotion, but knows that allows you to unite with the infinite presence within, and that's the energy that can move mountains. When this card comes to you, whatever you are focusing your energy on currently is supporting the expansion of your soul. The dedication that you are pouring into your projects is powerful and magnetic. When you are in this ecstatic, focused state, you are aligned to the highest vibrations and will receive divine transmissions that will take you forward. My dedication is supported by the universe. So if you feel like you've had to, settle, like, oh, I guess, like, I don't get to live the kind of life that would make me happy. That's not what the universe is saying. The universe is saying, like, it does support you being happy and feeling good about yourself and your life and whatever it is that you're doing, but you have to kind of look beyond the surface level materialistic aspects of it. And, maybe your expectations have been manipulated because of what other people seem to expect. You have to really look down at yourself and think, like, what's going to make me feel good? What's going to make me feel successful? And then look, I am supported on my path. Exactly. The universe really is coming to support you and telling you that, like, it's on your team. It's not trying to squander your goals. So this is called the Earth Star, and it's like below the feet, blah, 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 and contains like earthly wisdom. And it's about taking responsibility for our path. So it says, the road you are on may feel like the road less traveled, but this journey is going to be highly beneficial for your personal and spiritual growth. With this card, you're being encouraged to see how far you've come, what you've healed, and what you have overcome. The universe is also encouraging you to keep things simple. If things become heavy or challenging, ask yourself, what can you do to lighten your load? What can you let go? What can you do that will allow you to walk your path in a lighter, more fulfilled, and focused way? Your path may feel like a lonely road, but the truth is you are infinitely connected, and it is the path you have chosen. It's important for you to fully own that. Through accepting who you are and what you're here to do, you'll create an energy that will allow others to accept you and support you. You don't need external validation, but you do deserve to feel respected, supported, and encouraged. Let that happen. I trust in my ever-unfolding path. And that's so beautiful because this card talks about the impact people can have with their outside perspectives and how we have to kind of build ourselves up so that we can feel confident and happy enough not to really be impacted by the words and thoughts of others. Okay. These cards are a little more direct, so I don't need a fancy book. What advice do you have for group 1? I release the need to blame anyone, including myself. We are doing the best we can with the understanding, knowledge, and awareness we have. There is no blame. Okay, so maybe like growing up, maybe your parents didn't have a lot of money, and so maybe you grew up very poor. Maybe if you have children, you've kind of felt like, because let's be real, sometimes resentment towards a child happens within a parent. Like, parents are people, and we're allowed to feel things, but then it becomes important to understand, like, your child didn't really hold you back from any life. And it's not their fault. If you can't afford to go on vacation. Okay, this is what I was thinking the other day. Like, I realized I want to visit every continent really before I start visiting continents multiple times. Because here's the thing, like, I don't make a lot of money, and so what money I do make, I have to kind of save so that I can travel, and one day I hope to get married and have kids. And when I do have kids, if my partner and I are not pretty comfortable, traveling is not going to be a priority, and so I'm going to take care and do that now while I have the opportunity. And I hope that in the future, when I do have children, that I'll still be able to travel and we can have that experience together. But it wouldn't be fair of me to have kids and then hate them because I didn't get to travel. Like, It's a part of my life. And other priorities have to take precedence at that point. You know, also understanding that, like, other people aren't necessarily to blame for your level of dissatisfaction. They're just projecting onto you, like, what they think or what they want, you know, and it's kind of up to us to filter through those messages. There's a certain level of accountability that we have to take. And then, okay, from the soul's perspective, you are always safe. Nature is designed to uphold your well-being. The universe cherishes my existence. See, I love that. This kind of just seems like a recurring theme right here of support. Like, if you are worried that the universe doesn't prioritize you or isn't, like, gunning for your success, that's a misunderstanding there. And so it may be important to start figuring out, why is there that misunderstanding? You know, I don't know, doing shadow work can be really helpful. Doing meditation can be really helpful. Talking with a counselor can be really helpful, or even doing, like, well, I mean, self-counseling kind of is like guided journals or whatever, you know, or dialectical behavior therapy, even on your own, just to start processing, like, what is my attachment to this feeling and how can I resolve that so I can put my focus on something that is healthier, you know, and makes me happy. So group number 1, I really hope that this message resonated with you. If it did, please let me know how in the comment section down below, and I'll talk to you later. Bye. Hi, group number 2, you chose the flower here. So this is going to be your reading on why you are avoidant. Now, I'm not really well versed in flowers, but, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, absolutely, I would appreciate it. This makes me think of, like, a sweet pea. And when I looked up the meaning of sweet pea flowers, there were a lot of different interpretations. I suppose the Victorians used it as, like, a farewell flower. It could represent success, pleasure, and everlasting friendship. So I think that's beautiful, you know. It does give me, like, a really serene feeling, even though we've got, like, this dead end card here. We've got dead end 40, we've got good luck, and then we've got Mercury, communication and truth, number 24. So with this, how do I want to start? I feel like, I know there have been other examples of this as well. But think of, like, Percy Jackson and the Olympians, you know, how when they're in the casino and they kind of start to forget why they're there, and they get distracted and want to stay, or any representation of, like, humans encountering the Fae, and, like, you've been warned not to eat the Fae food, but in some instances you'll see depictions of humans doing just that. And that's when they fall into, like, the same stupor where they forget why they're there, they don't want to leave. That's kind of what I'm feeling for this pile. It seems as if either you don't know where to go, or you don't think there is anywhere else to go. The dead end here makes me think of, obviously, completion. You know, you've reached the end of the tunnel and there are no other routes to take. But this is like a trap, you know, this is a fallacy. There's always another route to take, even if you have to make it yourself. Um, then with like this good luck card here, we have ladybugs, which typically, like the card says, represent good luck. I don't know if you've ever heard of like the superstition that if a ladybug lands on you, you just make a wish and blow it off. And then the book also talks about these circles kind of like representing an 8. Makes me think of like a figure 8, an infinity symbol. So I feel like you have accomplished something, group number 2. It could be in your career. It could be in your love life. It could be in personal growth. It could be a move. There's something that you have accomplished. And for some of you, you feel like maybe that's all that there is. You know, like you're done. Like, where do I go from here? You could be potentially just like enjoying the fruits of your labor right now and very much focused on that, which when we've made accomplishments, it is very important for us, I think, to take that time and give ourselves rest and relaxation, allow ourselves to indulge in the satisfaction of what we have accomplished. But this may be a little overindulgent. You may just genuinely not know what the next step to take is. And it can be hard when we don't know what to expect next to even contemplate like how we can go about discovering that information. It's like when you I don't know, maybe you have to repaint your house and you've gotten everything cleaned up and now you just have to figure out like, okay, which room's first? Where do you want to start? Because it's kind of like a blank slate, an open canvas. For others of you, the accomplishment that you've achieved may be extremely overwhelming. Or even if the accomplishment itself isn't overwhelming, the thought of, oh my God, what do I do next? Feels overwhelming. You may have anxiety due to uncertainty about how to move forward. And, you know, sometimes we can self-sabotage further success because we want to just, oh, hey, this is a candle that a friend of mine got me. It's so dusty. But it's one of the kind that has like little stones in it. I don't remember what this kind is. It's probably just like, I don't know, guys. But yeah, the stone melted off of it, so we'll just put that there. Anyway, you know, you may feel such a relief at what you have accomplished and kind of be sabotaging yourself because you're afraid of like, what if I'm not good enough to accomplish the next step, you know? For some of you, when we get to this good luck card, this may indicate that like either you feel that it was luck that moved you, that got you to this point, and you may be doubting your capabilities, like your genuine contribution to your success. For others who are kind of overindulging in the moment, I think with this kind of making me think of figure 8, I mean, it's separated, but it kind of makes me think of feeling as if, you know, oh, we have all the time in the world. You know, I can get to it later, which, hello, very guilty of that. Then Mercury, communication and truth. So Mercury represents both Gemini and Virgo. And an air sign and an earth sign. And the previous pile also had references to mercurial energy. Mercury is the planet and the god of like communication and transition. So I think a big part of the reason that you are being avoidant is just because like you don't know how to put into action what your ideas are after that point. Like, and you might be struggling to conceptualize success beyond this. And for those of you who are experiencing like a sense of overindulging, it's just like, this is better than I could have even imagined. Oh my God, look at this. This is so great. Yeah, it is. Congratulations. Like, genuinely. Just don't get so caught up in that where you are hindering yourself for further success. So we're going to look into tarot to see like what you can do to get out of this energy of avoidance. This can talk about a mindset that you need to shift. This can talk about a person that maybe you need to bring into your life or open up to. This can talk about physical actions you may need to do. There we go. We're getting a little bit. Got my, y'all, my card shuffling skills were never that great, but they really suck balls now. Advice for pile 2. What can they do to combat this avoidancy? Aha. So the first is the 8 of Pentacles in reverse, which is so funny. Because the 8 of Pentacles talks about hard work. It talks about seeing the fruits of our labor. It can talk about like being a master at something. And in both scenarios that we've discussed, whether it's that like you're just so, oh my God, like this is so great, like this is better than I could have expected, or if you're struggling to understand like what you can possibly do moving forward, it's important to accept that like this is not the final product. Whatever it is that you've accomplished, that's not the end of your story. That's not the end of that moment. Like there is more to come. And it's important to allow yourself room to grow and allow yourself the opportunity for whatever success you've accomplished thus far to grow. It makes me think of, oh my God, why did I forget her name? Shoot. Is it Annabelle? Is that her name? From Encanto? The girl who's like perfect and elegant and has this ability to make these beautiful flowers, and then you come to find out that she's just felt suppressed all this time. And when she learns that she can make things other than just pretty little decorative flowers, like she really starts to experiment. And for those of you who may feel insecure about achieving further success, it's going to be very important for you to understand that like nobody ever starts something off knowing what they're doing. Even like when you go to college, I mean, yes, you have the knowledge there and the information, but there comes a time when you have to gain that real world experience, you know, and how we respond to the actual experience of a situation is far different than oftentimes how we're going to respond to like a test on the subject, you know, or a book. We learn things by doing and by observing, and we're going to make mistakes. That's just a part of it. But sometimes those mistakes can benefit us. They can lead to something greater than we would have expected. Or sometimes they're just things we have to like kind of laugh about and let go. So these three came out together. We'll see how they want to fall. The Seven of Wands in reverse. So the Seven of Wands is about being defensive. It's about putting our guard up and trying to protect what it is that we've accomplished. But there's no reason that you have to protect it, group number 2. And there's no reason you have to protect yourself. The universe wants you to expand. And the universe wants you to have faith in yourself. And to be humble enough to let yourself mess up sometimes and be imperfect. You know, because if you have walls up, then you're shutting anything out that could be coming in positively as a gift or as an assistance. And if you're trying to protect something that you've already accomplished, all you're doing is smothering it. You know, things like when you think of business, like businesses that are family owned, sometimes there's the idea of like, oh, it needs new blood. You know, it needs some new blood in the veins, because if you have a system that's been operating the same way for so long, like it's not able to see any flaws, and it's not able to see how it could progress. Oh, the Three of Pentacles. Yes. So this can talk about working together. Typically you see other people involved in a Three of Pentacles card. It is the card of like teamwork and collaboration. And since we're talking about allowing ourselves to expand and grow, learn from our mistakes, it might be important to connect yourself with other people, you know, or at the very least, like observe others. Because the ways in which we do things are not necessarily the only ways in which to do them. For example, starting this channel, like I did start off watching a lot of different tarot channels. And while I'm somebody who does want to be unique, I also want to like see, oh, what is it that other people are doing? And how is there anything that I feel I could utilize that would benefit my practice, you know, and my audience, because I don't know everything. And even though I am a creative person, sometimes I need a little bit of a poke with that creativity, you know, because I start off very analytical at first, and I kind of need someone to open up the doors for me. It's interesting. I don't know what I would say that it means, but it's interesting. We do have this circle behind the angel's head here, which is very typical symbolism. But then we've got this triangle. And I don't necessarily know what that could represent. Although I will say it kind of makes me think of like when you're looking at hierarchies, or even just the stepping stones. You know, you start off at the base where you're having to learn all of this information, and then when you get to the top, it's more specialized. And the Three of Pentacles can also just mean continuing your craft and experimenting with it, you know? And then finally we have, the Nine of Pentacles. I love this. The Nine of Pentacles is about gaining confidence in yourself, group number 2. It's about learning how to be proud of who you are. And I think that's very important for those of you who do feel insecure about potentially moving forward and attempting to achieve further success in something. But even for those of you who might be very, it might be like more the first scenario where it's, you know, you're thinking like, there really is no way that this can move any further. Like, this is perfect. This is better than I could have ever imagined. I think this is time for you to look less at the result of what you've achieved. Because I think you might be focusing on that too much. And look more at yourself. Because ultimately, like, you made this happen. Whatever it is that you've accomplished, whatever steps you've made, whatever improvements you've succeeded in, like, it was you. And I think you need to honor yourself with that. You know? So overall, this really does look like largely this is going to be a lot of mental energy that the universe is guiding you to adjust, you know, accepting that this is not the final product, that it's okay to grow and to expand and to not be perfect. Be willing to put your defenses down, be willing to be open to new ideas, be willing to exploration, be willing to criticisms, offers, opportunities, and then gaining confidence as an individual that you made this happen and that you can make more happen. And then in the physical world, we might be looking at working with other people, okay? Or even just discovering ways in which you can, there was another one. They're so tiny. Ow, it's hot. Discovering ways in which, like, you can experiment with your idea, okay? So now we are going to just get some advice or encouragement from the universe using what is it? I was gonna say debit cards. Oh boy. See, I've been out the game too long, guys. Oracle cards. So these cards relate to chakras, and then just flew out very, very dramatically. All right. So we have, it is safe for you to shine. Absolutely. And I wonder too if that means that maybe for those of you who are kind of just overindulging and are in awe of like what you have succeeded in and focusing on like how perfect it is and it's more than you expected, maybe you are afraid to give yourself the recognition. Maybe you are afraid of moving forward and then producing something that's not quite as perfect as how you feel the first step was. Sometimes we aren't always aware of our motivations. And so it might be important for you to do some digging and to figure out like, why am I so focused on this? Why do I want to just leave it like this? We're going to see what chakra relates to. It might be one of the really weird ones. Yeah, it's the soul star. It's apparently above the crown of the head. It's visualized as a three-dimensional star known as Merkaba. Blah, 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 blah. It's about revisiting old lessons or stories that could be blocking our experience of abundance and purpose. Okay, so it says, it is safe for you to shine. This is not time to hold back. The answer is yes. Go forth. Proceed. The time is now. The energy of wishing on a star is coming to you because you are a star. If you've been hanging back or thinking something through before moving forward, or you've been waiting for a sign that it's the right thing to do, please take this card as that sign. Move on up. Positivity, abundance, and excitement are surrounding you at this time. The dreams you've been dreaming are more like visions of what is possible for you. Know that whatever you're connecting with on the inside is something you'll be soon experiencing in the physical realm. If you are feeling nervous, shy, or unsure, it's because you care deeply about making a difference and living in the most authentic way possible. This is what makes you the bright and shiny person you are today. Know that it is not a time to step back or to be modest, but to claim what is rightfully yours. Reach up, reach higher, and reach higher still. The world is truly your oyster, and it is a pleasure for the universe to see you shine. I trust in my gifts. I know that I can shine. Oh my God, you guys. Like, I'm going to get emotional about that. What have we been talking about? Yeah. Yeah, I feel it on a personal level. Woo! So see, the universe is supporting you, moving up, exploring, experimenting, expanding. Don't cut yourself off at the knees because you're afraid of what you can or can't do. Okay, so what other words of wisdom does the universe have for us? Each moment of the day is special to me. As I follow my highest instincts and listen to my heart, I am at peace with my world and affairs. I am deeply fulfilled by all that I do. Don't just live for contentment. I mean, contentment, yes, is beautiful. And there definitely is a difference between being ambitious and being greedy. You know, I'm not suggesting that you be greedy ever. I'm suggesting that you don't keep yourself small, group number 2. You deserve to see just how far you can go. And you won't know until you try. Okay, and I'll tell you this. If you fall off the ladder once, okay. You try something and it doesn't go right the first time, that doesn't mean that you're destined for failure. It doesn't mean that it's not possible to work out, you know? It just means maybe you need to think it through a little bit more. Maybe you need to try a different avenue. Maybe you need some help, you know? And then finally, what's a manifestation message that we can give group number 2? Come on, bro. I am like I can't take all those. I'm sorry. I was about to complain how sweaty I'm getting because my air conditioning doesn't really work in my apartment complex. And then I turned off my fan so that I could film this video. And I have this ring light on. And so, like, literally sweat dripped from, yeah, on my shoulder. Okay. Your whole body is a holistic, dynamic process in support of being alive. I am in charge of my life, yes. So especially for those of you who may be struggling with doubt or anxiety, it can feel like our bodies are against us, you know, but it's important to remember that you are in charge of your life. And sometimes our bodies do force us to face limitations. You know, I myself need the appropriate dosage of medication, and I need to take it daily in order for me to be at my best. You know, when I stop taking it, that's when it starts to go downhill. And I have to be careful about the expectations I play upon myself. I can't expect that my brain just works when I'm not taking my meds because I want it to. But I know, okay, if I take my medication, it makes it easier for me to function as an adult. And so I just do what I have to take care of my body. And then it allows me to move forward in the way that I want to. It's not luck that brought you where you are. It's you, pile number 2. And I hope you see that. So please let me know what you think if this resonated with you, and I'll talk to you later. Bye. Hello, group number 3. You chose the tie-dyed elephant, and so this will be a reading on why are you avoidant. So right off the bat, the tie-dye elephant makes me think of childhood, playfulness, innocence, and nostalgia, because elephants do have extremely good memories. I love the fact that we have this tie-dye elephant and then the tie-dye color palette of this card, the ring. So we have, what is that? 57? Yeah, 57 with the ring. Destiny, and then the nodes of the moon, release, clear, and align with card number 32. It's interesting that in these cards, all of them, really circular patterns, like this is more of a spiral, but then we've got a circle here. We've got circles in these backgrounds, and then the circles of the planets and the sun. And so you may feel as if something in your life isn't complete. When I look at this ring card, I think of commitment. The card itself talks about things being in constant cycle. But also specifically about the promise a ring signifies. And group number 3, I feel that in alignment with this sticker right here, if we're thinking of like childhood and nostalgia, but then reflecting onto this promise of commitment, I don't think you're ready to commit to something yet. I think that you feel as if that is going to rob you of your freedom. We have this destiny card here. It's just this chainmail knight suit, but then there's also a cage that signifies its chest and abdomen with the key behind it. Like how is this knight supposed to get this key, right? If it's like right behind it. I mean, maybe I guess it could be over the shoulder. Destinies oftentimes they're things that when we think of destiny mean we can't escape. Like it's going to happen no matter what we do. Our fate is inevitable. But this card talks about us realizing that we may be sometimes in negative thought patterns, and that we have to objectively intentionally counteract negative thought patterns. Maybe you feel that you still have a destiny, and that whatever this sort of like commitment is would potentially rob you of that chance. Uh, and so I think, I mean, we're going to get into advice later, but from my personal perspective, I think that kind of means, do you need to reevaluate what's going on here? Like, if we're going to take this ring as a literal thing, and like, you're supposed to get married, like you're engaged, or someone keeps proposing to you and you keep putting it off because you've got this fear of committing, I think maybe you need to look at it, like, why are you afraid of committing? What does commitment mean to you? What does it mean to be a partner with somebody and to share your life with them? How would that hinder you? How could it help you grow? Is it the right step? Like, is this something you should be putting off? Is it something that you should just go forward and commit to? Or is it something you just need to cut ties with and say, you know what, I'm not ready for this stage of my life? And the fact of the matter is, this night does have the key. You create the direction of your life. Most things, I would argue, are still possible when you make commitments to other things. They just may not happen in the time frame that you wanted. They may not happen in the way that you wanted or that you had originally thought of. But like, if you get married, or if you commit to a job, or you commit to a move, and you think that you'll regret doing so because that means that you're losing something else, why is that loss important to you? And so, like, okay, say it's about moving countries, for example, and say that there's a job opportunity in the country you currently reside in that has always been your dream job, but maybe you are already married and your spouse is like, hey, we're relocating for my job. And so, like, maybe you're scared because you think, oh my God, I have to sacrifice my career. I really wanted to work for this company, but they're not available overseas or in the next country over. Is it that particular company that you want to work for? Like, do you have to work for that particular company, or can you do that job remotely? I've heard of people who live out of their country of origin but are still employed with a company that resides there because they're able to do it remotely. Or, like, is there a company in the country where you're going to that does something similar that you would be able to do instead, and still feel that fulfillment? The nodes of the moon. So it says release, clear, and align. The nodes, we have the north node and the south node, and your node is going to be different. God, I forget what mine is, but it's always going to be like your north node is always going to be an exact opposite to your south node, and vice versa. So I want to say that one of my nodes is in Leo, and so I think the other one's in Aquarius. I'm not sure. Anyway, the south node typically deals with your past, like the things that you accomplished, the direction that you took, and then the north node deals with kind of your destiny for like the future, like this lifetime. And so sometimes we may find that our south node is influencing us in this time. Like if I don't know, we come from a family of like scientists, but we are really interested in languages, like, where did that come from? If you look back at your South node, maybe you have a south node in like Sagittarius or a south node in Mercury or something like that, you know? You may also find that struggles from your south node can cause struggles in this lifetime in achieving your north node. So it's just kind of like this back and forth pull. It seems like what is going on here is that your resistance to committing to something is because you are very heavily focused on, do I want to move forward or do I want to stay where I'm at? This is the past, this is the future, this is the present, this is the future. And it seems like it feels as if it has to be one or the other. And you know, group number 3, I'm not entirely sure that that's true. So, we're just going to get some advice on how you can adapt real world to this and alleviate that tendency to be avoidant. This could be, you know, reference a discussion maybe you need to have with someone, an action you need to take, a position you need to consider. Okay, what advice do you have for group number 3? Okay. We have the High Priestess. We have the Queen of Wands. And then we have Temperance. So I'm going to start with this, but then I also kind of feel like I'm supposed to get one more. So first of all, there's a lot of feminine energy here. A lot of times when we reference feminine energy, we're talking about like your heart center. Masculine energy tends to be more of like the brain center. Feminine energy means the heart center. And of course, it's just the way in which we reference it. It doesn't mean that, you know, it's that clear cut. But it seems like there needs to be some examination that you do of what you really want. You know, it's not necessarily about what should I want or what's expected of me or what do I think would benefit me the most. It's about like, what does your heart center really call for you to do? And so the High Priestess talks a lot about intuition and about the mysteries of the universe. This on its own can talk about just really trying to tap into your intuition and really trying to uncover the mysteries within yourself. And that can be done through a lot of ways, you know, therapy, self-talk, journaling, meditating. This might also be a recommendation for some of you to actually go just like see I'm going to call it a mystic. I'm sure that's like not the right definition for it, but I'm reading this older fantasy novel that keeps referring to certain individuals as mystics, and so it just sounds appropriate. But, you know, somebody who does have a more spiritual, higher insight, whether you want to call that like a mystic, a psychic, a reader, you know, it can be tarot. I know Reiki's for healing, but maybe that would benefit you. You know, someone who does palmistry, anything that you feel, I think, drawn to. If you do go see somebody professionally about this, who works in the area of the esoteric. It's just important, I think, for you to feel comfortable in that energy. You know, like, not every counselor is going to work with every patient. They're not going to be compatible with every patient. They're not necessarily going to have all of the tools necessary to be able to communicate with every type of person and adapt to every type of person. You know, they have their specialties, and sometimes they're just communication barriers or personality conflicts, even though it's a professional environment. Same can be said for like psychics and readers and spiritualists and all that sort of stuff. You know, yes, you want somebody who is like book smart on the topic too, but you want to be able to feel like, yeah, this is the person. Like, I feel comfortable with this person. I trust this person. You know, I just recommend that you always listen to your gut when it comes to most things, but especially when it deals in this situation. The Queen of Wands is somebody who is driven by passion, and she is confident. She knows that she is going to attract what it is that she wants. And she follows her passions. I would definitely say building up your confidence needs to be something that you should do. And you can do that in a variety of ways. You can do that in just like setting aside a time during the day or night where you just kind of like read positive affirmations to yourself. Maybe you reflect on accomplishments that you succeeded in that day. Maybe it's you dress in a way that makes you feel more confident, or you engage in things that make you feel more confident. For like, maybe you do rituals that make you feel more confident. Like, even though I'm very heavily earth dominated, I am very attracted to candle magic. And so sometimes when I need a boost of confidence, I'll just light some candles and I'll meditate on it, you know? And then with Temperance is all about moderation. But it seems like maybe there's too much moderation in your life right now. I think the universe is really just encouraging you to make a decision and to commit to it, you know, because sometimes moderation, for the most part, can be a very good thing, but it can lead to stagnation if we don't keep it in check properly. And I think that's what's going on here. You're stagnated, and so that's not going to benefit you. If anything, that is going to keep you stuck more than making a commitment would. I do feel like, okay, the King of Cups in reverse. And it's so funny here because we talk about tapping into your heart center and all this feminine energy, doing what makes you passionate. And then we have the King of Cups here, who is like, who acts upon his emotions. Okay, I get it. With the Seven of Pentacles in reverse, that's talking about not putting in any effort. That's talking about being impatient. And so while you do need to make a decision and act upon it, you need to do this reflection first. You know, you need to be able to sit with yourself and consider what it is that you truly want in your heart, and instead of making a decision on impulse. Now what we're going to do is we're just going to get a little bit of further advice using some oracle cards. The ones that I'm using now are called the Raise Your Vibration Oracle. And they deal with chakras. Trying to see what time I'm at. Yo guys, like I have this screen protector on my phone and it's a privacy protector too, so it's really hard. I have to like super lean over my phone to see what I'm doing. Making sure that's like in the shot and everything. All right, so what advice do you have, Spirit? What chakra can they work on to get them out of this energy? It's okay to feel what you need to feel. Once again, we have these circles. There definitely is something about circular energy. I think of like the world and cycles that are complete or incomplete. And these colors really remind me of fall, which is like a time of harvest, you know? But it's also like saying goodbye to the warmer weather, so it can be a bittersweet time of the year. I'm going to say that with it's okay to feel what you need to feel. If you do feel like you have to let something go, it's okay. And it's okay to be sad about that. Whether it's letting go of this commitment or whether it's feeling as if, you know, in order to make this commitment, I do have to make a sacrifice. And it does hurt. It does upset me. It's not that you should deny your feelings. It's not that you should shut them off, you know? Feelings are a part of the experience. It's just that by keeping yourself in a state of no movement, you're not really allowing yourself to feel anything. And you're not allowing yourself to make any progress either way. You're just keeping yourself in limbo. I want to say this is probably the heart chakra, which would be like the only normal chakra I got out of any of these readings. No, it's the sacral chakra. Okay. Which is found at the top of the pubic bone and is known as Svadhisthana, one's own place. It covers our sensual, sexual organs, represents our capacity to create. It's governed by the element of water. It's about connecting with the ability to trust and flow with the energy of life itself. When we plant seeds, we don't dig them back up to check that they are growing because we trust in the laws of nature and the process and trust that whatever is unfolding. So it says, there's a lot of information out there that feeling a certain way can manifest blockages in life, but it's important for us to remember we are having a human experience. When we deny how we truly feel, we cast those emotions into our shadow space, and they still affect us. But as we aren't conscious of them, they can create more trouble than we bargained for. Today, the universe is encouraging you to know that it's okay to feel whatever you need to feel. The only way to overcome feelings is by feeling them. So don't beat yourself up for feeling a certain way. Instead, treat yourself kindly by finding a safe space to honestly express it. Let it rise to the surface and be released. Then you can begin taking action steps to move toward how you want to feel. Know that the universe will send support along the way. I let myself feel exactly what I need to feel. Yeah, I think that says it all, group number 3. At least for that card. We're just going to get another affirmation. Words of encouragement for group number 3. What words of encouragement do you have for group number 3? As I forgive myself, I leave behind all feelings of not being good enough, and I am free to love myself. I forgive myself. Wow. That's really deep. And maybe for some of you, that's where that struggle to let the past go and to move forward is coming from. Maybe you feel like you don't deserve it because of something that happened in the past, or any other feelings. But yeah, definitely take inventory of what you're feeling, and if you hold like anything against yourself, it's really important to work through that. So, I mean, don't sabotage your success. You know, if you don't think you deserve it, it's time to break free from that negative pattern. It's hard, but you can teach yourself to know that you do deserve good things. All right, and a manifestation statement or two. We got lots of purple. Purple tends to deal with like royalty and spirituality, psychicness. The highest correlation for reaching 90 or 100 years of age in good shape is emotional resilience, the ability to bounce back from life's setbacks. I am flexible in my body and mind. I embody healthy, positive energy. Yeah, and so there might be a lack of flexibility here. If you're thinking that you have to if you can only do one thing or the other and you can't have both, maybe you need to work on thinking outside of the box a little bit. You know, if you think that something that happened in the past prohibits you from gaining success in the future, maybe you need to kind of redefine that too. And then we have your soul is dynamic. Your soul is creative. I embrace a life of adventure and exploration. I live a life of discovery and self-transformation. Yeah, it does seem like you're kind of stuck trying to stay in the past. And the universe is letting you know, like, hey, life is about change. Life is about discovery and transformation, you know, and it doesn't... Life is scary sometimes, but something being scary doesn't have to be a bad thing either. Like, scary just means uncertainty and newness. And you can stay in a safe place and know that, like, okay, this is familiar to me. I know what to expect. But then what are you missing out on? You know? Like, so there was a time when I was talking with some older ladies that I was waiting on at work. I worked at a cafe at the time, who were going to France. And I think they were going to Nice. Is it Nice? Nietzsche? I don't know. Oh God, what is it? Shoot. I don't remember. Je sais pas. That's how you say it. I don't know in French. Je sais pas. That took way too long. It was important for the plot, damn it. But that was shortly after the attack in Nice. I believe at the Ariana Grande concert. That was a terrorist attack. And I remember being like, wait, you're gonna go to France after that happened? Like, aren't you scared? And these ladies were like, honey, if something's gonna happen, it's gonna happen. We're not gonna sit here and deny ourselves the opportunity to live life just because we're afraid. And that always stuck with me. You know? I feel like if you hold back from commitments simply because you're afraid of what you'll have to let go, you're never going to let yourself gain anything. You know, you're going to be stuck in time. So group number 3, I hope that this reading was helpful. If it resonated with you, please let me know how in the comment section down below. Bye.